what I do? I would deal Leake. I would deal Cueto. And goodbye. And you're starting all over again. And you got these three. You got the three guys here. All right. You got Desclafani. You got Iglesias. You got Lorenzen. You bring up Ralph or whatever his name is from AAA, the guy that's 6-0, Mascot. Bring up Ralph Mascot from AAA. You bring him up. So now you got 4. Bailey's not going to be back until July or August. So you're really only looking for one guy at that point, right? You're only looking for one guy, and maybe if it's Stevenson's last outing in AA was pretty good, so maybe there's your rotation. You just go young next year. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I think you have to look at that. But if you're just bringing in one guy,
that's pretty drastic.
No, but other clubs are doing it well.
What's drastic is putting Jason Marquis in the starting rotation.
I'm not saying that drastic times call for drastic measures, but that's pretty drastic. Well. You could go on. You think it's been bad so far? It could get a lot worse.
I think they will. I think they will. I think they will not have both of those guys. If they have, they will either have one of those guys, probably Leake, or someone else of a veteran nature to plug in. Hopefully not Jason Marquis.
Let's hope not.
And then they're going to have 4 rookies in their rotation, unless in one of their trades they get back a guy with 1 or 2 years experience, kind of thing. That's sort of where Leake was when he was like 1 year out, like in 2011, kind of thing. That maybe had part or most of a year of experience, maybe a little bit more experience than Desclafani had when they got him from the Marlins.
But here's the question: if you're going to do that, Mike, do you really want Walt Jocketty shepherding that kind of era?
I don't think he's that kind of general manager. I don't think he's a rebuilding kind of general manager. And he's, I don't know how old he is right now, but he's been a general manager for a long time. You don't teach an old dog new tricks this late in the game.
They need.
Yeah, you guys act like he's dead.
His team is.
As bad as it is, do you think they're going to do any of this before the All-Star game?
No.
Right.
They can't.
Because the old man, Castelli doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want anything to overshadow it. But I'll tell you this: if there are run-on pitchers at that time before the All-Star game, I mean, if they think they're going to hold out and have Johnny Cueto as last man standing and find a good deal for him, they're not. I mean, they got to. If there's a run, they got to get in on it, because let's face it.
Last year,
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and it wouldn't be the first time that I've been wrong, but the All-Star game is 5 days, right? I mean, that whole thing is 5 days. If you got garbage before it, you're going to have garbage after it. It doesn't matter. Same problems you have before, you're going to have after it. So what does it matter whether you do business during the All-Star game?
I think they just don't want the fan base. There's a perception that the fan base will feel like they have been abandoned if there's sort of like a fire sale. But I think the fan base will understand it and will be more frustrated if there isn't movement.
Right.
And the fan base isn't going to go to the All-Star game. They can't afford the tickets. They're going to go down to the Duke Energy Center and they're going to ride on the inflatable slides or whatever it is down there. And that's where the fan base is.
The people who are going to go to the All-Star game aren't the diehard fans that buy a few games tickets a year.
MLB has all the tickets. The Reds have like nothing.
Right. But people from Cincinnati who go are going to be very rich and aren't diehard Reds fans.
No, so that's why I say it really from his standpoint, if he doesn't want it to overshadow the All-Star game, he's not, because the people that are going to be upset, not upset, whatever, they're going to be watching the All-Star game on their couch. They're not going to be downtown.
Yeah. Well, I think the other reason that nothing will happen before the All-Star game is you look at the wild card standings, and there are a boatload of teams ahead of them, but they're still only 6 games out. If they were to somehow get hot like they played over the weekend and play that way for a sustained period of time, not one 3-game series, they could still be in it. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, but
they've done it except for the last inning of the last 2 games.
Castellini is much more optimistic than I am. And I think they still think this is a really good team. That may be diluted.
I don't know what they're watching.
Man.
Yeah, I don't see Brian Price having a meeting every week and firing these guys up.